do what? Free on a sofa. Free on a sofa.
Okay. Hello and welcome to Three on a Sofa. This is going to be a monthly political magazine show where we have people like Dan Ashman. He's on the right of your screen, but he's on the left.
Am I? I don't know.
I don't know if this show's going to be any good, I'll be honest. It could be absolutely shit. But stick with us, and if it's good, then stick around, subscribe, and do all of that sort of stuff.
Make things good for each other, innit?
What?
Just make things good for each other, you know.
Okay, we're starting well so far. So anyway, I'm Marcus J. Richardson. If you don't know me, I'm a bit of a dickhead, but I do also have quite a little bit of a left. Just hold on, let me introduce myself. I'm a little bit of a lefty, but I'm also, good at sitting on the fence. Everyone loves a fence up the bum. On my far left, we have someone who likes to sit on the far left, although he doesn't like to be labelled like that. That's Daniel Ashman, activist and dad. And in the middle here, we have Tim Barron, who I would also like to call Andrew Barron, because it's one of his other names.
Yeah.
Hello, Andrew.
Thanks.
Andrew is someone who is amazing at playing devil's advocate. Dan, would you like to say anything about yourself just before we get started?
I hope I don't embarrass you, Grandma.
Brilliant. And Tim, anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, it just feels like it's all really serious all of a sudden. It's like we were just having a really good laugh. And now it's like, it really feels like we're being filmed, so...
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even really think that. I didn't even style my hair.
Did you not? Politics is one of those things we're all into, whether we like it or not, because it's life.
Oh, flying low.
Great. So anyway, once we'd sorted out Dan's crotch problem, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to get onto fracking a little bit later. We're going to talk about the Novichok / Russia situation, but we're going to start...
It's all bad, isn't it?
Dan may not be on this show again, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see. Anyway, Novichok, guys, what's happening?
It's all an experiment, isn't it?
What's that then?
Novichok.
Well, no,
Go on, give us your take on it.
it's all fear, isn't it? All the world is a stage.
Okay, Dan, I'm going to now challenge you for the next 5 minutes not to say in it. So, what is it? What is Novichok, for those that don't know?
Well, it's...
Stop saying it's a tragedy. Tell us what Novichok is.
Novichok,
Otherwise, it's just going to be me talking for 20 minutes.
Russia and Theresa May and all the war industry are going to do very well out of all of this.
Tim,
Arms
would
races.
you like to describe what Novichok is to the audience, for those that aren't aware?
Well, from what I understand, it's a nerve agent that was developed by Russia, as far as we know, as far as we've been told.
Evidence.
Dan's got a take on that.
They accused before, didn't they? They accused before they had any evidence.
An ex-KGB agent, but a double agent guy, and he's got poisoned by this substance. They found it on him. And I think there's a lot of people I certainly believe there's a lot of people saying, well, it definitely looks like it could be the Russians, but isn't that what you want us to believe? I don't know. It's like Dan says, actually, yes, it is a sense of theatre about the whole thing, and different theories being played out on social media. And because of what happened in the past with the Iraq war and the information around that, is it to believe, what goes on below the scenes?
There's a lot of manipulation around.
I mean, if you have been hiding under a rock, basically a Russian ex-double agent and his daughter were found in Salisbury, very close to Portham Down, having been poisoned by what it seems is Novichok. We are told can only have been made in Uzbekistan by the Russians. There's lots of other things to go into about that, but that's kind of what's been sold to us, and we've been told that it could only have been Russia. Daniel, is Putin capable of this?
Well, they're all capable of doing horrible things, aren't they? I mean, horrible things are happening all the time.
Is Putin capable of doing this?
I'm not for any of them, really.
No, I'm not asking that. Is Putin capable of doing this?
Look, well, let's
They kill people en masse, all of them.
Yeah, and,
Okay.
and he was an ex-member of the KGB, wasn't he? He was a KGB agent, and he worked his way up to the pinnacle of that organisation. Is he capable of doing it? He's supposed to have form. There's supposed to be assassinations. The Litvinenko was poisoned with that substance.
Polonium-210.
That happened, and fingers were pointed. But in that instance, they had CCTV. Is it something to do with the investigation that we're not allowed to see CCTV? Because it's everywhere. We're probably being filmed now.
Well, we are being filmed.
Oh, Dan!
I think you've actually made a really good point there, actually, about the CCTV content. The CCTV everywhere. How has he not been traced?
In which case, they must have a list of suspects being withheld because of the investigation or whatever. I don't know
Of course.
why it's being withheld.
Yeah.
How does something like this get administered?
I saw on a documentary or something on the news or whatever that if it was ingested, means eating it or up the bum or something like that.
Can you ingest up the ball?
I don't know. That's
a
different show.
Would that not be regest?
What was I saying?
You were telling me how it may be administered.
So if they'd have eaten it orally,
You can't stop
It,
yourself
right?
from
No,
that.
sorry, stop.
Sex. That's all you ever think about.
Oh god, such a big one right now. No. What was I saying?
How is it Novichok administered?
Right.
Okay, no.
No, so sorry. I'm so sorry. If they'd have eaten it, they'd have died instantly. So they're assuming that it's been put on the skin topically.
But then surely, to apply something topically, you would have to have gloves on because you wouldn't be able to get it on your skin yourself, because then otherwise they would be also contaminated.
I don't know. And how did the police officer get it as well?
Interesting.
So what have they all three touched? These are more things we don't know. I mean, when is stuff going to start coming out about it?
Yeah.
And the longer they leave it, the more curious they get, the more opportunity for conspiracy theories there are.
Of course.
So why don't they nip it in the bud?
This is a good question, and what I find interesting is a lot of the far right and a lot of the far left have got very similar thinking about this. And I know that makes your penis shrivel up, Daniel, but you've got to admit that a lot of people on the right and a lot of people on the left agree.
You know, I think we need to look at what we can do to make things good for each other.
This is going to be a difficult show if Daniel doesn't answer any of my questions.
Why don't we change it to what would a young Rolf Harris think?
Oh, that's not a nice thing to say. I'm not.
When I was young in the 70s, Rolf Harris did resemble that kind of get up and that shaped beard. And
I'm going to have to change it
But
now.
just to say, Danny's nothing like Rob
No.
Harris.
That's
other
not
than
what,
appearance.
That's not what I meant at all.
I don't know, he might be able to draw, but apart from that.
Yeah.
Only a little bit. I could do a bunny rabbit.
I can't even remember what the question was that you avoided.
Can
now,
you cut
Dan.
around this bit?
Yeah, I'm going to have to, aren't I? Do you believe, Daniel, that this was the government that have kind of done this themselves?
I believe the tax haven class are pulling strings.
You've got to be a bit more specific than that.
Yes,
I
please.
mean that's
That's
quite an easy thing to say.
Hold on, yes or no, do you believe that currently it's more likely that it was British involvement than Russian involvement?
Jury's out.
Your jury's out.
It doesn't really matter. They're
Why
all
does it not matter?
criminals.
Why does it not
Because
matter?
they're all fucking criminals, aren't they?
No, but it does matter because if hypothetically it is Russia, they shouldn't be doing that. And we should potentially be addressing that situation. If the British did it, then they're actually stoking a war with Russia, which is frightening because that does affect us and our people. Because if we go to war with Russia, we're not winning.
Who's going to go to war with Russia? If they want to fight, let's give them an arena over there. They can do whatever they want with themselves.
But Dan, don't.
And then
yeah,
we can go. Look, there you go.
It's
You
not as
can't-
simple as that, though,
Hunger
is it?
Games. You want to play Hunger Games? You go and do that with your own people and your own self.
How do we achieve that aim?
People are getting killed, man. Fuck, we don't need to do that.
I thought Dan was going to be a brilliant guest.
Well, people are getting frustrated with me.
Okay, let's move on. The Novichok situation's quite unclear, but
Yellow card.
yeah.
What
But
have
I think
done, man?
Tim gave us some great points about the
Sorry, Tim,
CCTV.
You take the reins.
About the CCTV situation. We don't know how it was administered, and we also don't know who the suspect was. Theresa May, get those questions answered.
She's a criminal, isn't she?
So moving on, we are now going to go on to the subject of Cambridge Analytica. Daniel, would you like to contribute something to the show and tell us what the whole situation is with Cambridge Analytica?
Well, they're a company that harvested loads of data off of Facebook, and then they tried to influence and target people to put them off voting. They tried to rig the elections that way, and it was properly targeted.
Cambridge Analytica is a company run by a lot of rich people.
Steve Bannon, the Bret Bart guy.
A lot of big,
He's the CEO on there.
there's a lot of big American right-wing people on there, and there's a lot of Tory investors who've invested in it.
He was Trump's advisor.
Yes, what we have is a company that basically harvested data illegally and then used that information to then use the swing voters in nations. I think Nigeria is a country, but I might be a bit wrong, but there are a couple of African nations where they heavily influence voting, and then the swing voters change the vote, basically. Are we surprised, Tim?
Well, you presented me with a lot of information then, and I don't really know too much about this.
Well, in other words, they're just finding ways of fucking it. You know,
So the way the internet works is when you're looking for something, you will see targeted ads down the right hand side of your screen, yeah? And what you see and what I see are two very different things. That's the simple form of it.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're taking that data that you like and they're tailoring posts with a little bit of a political swing.
And they find out what you like via them surveys.
Of course, yeah. So via what you like on Facebook, if someone posts something on Facebook and you like it, the algorithms make a note.
Every decision you do, every little like you do,
Exactly.
everything.
Yes.
It's everything.
Everything, yeah.
Oh, crikey.
So if somebody somebody joined the app, then anybody they were friends with, all of their data was then harvested.
Right. And so we've been manipulated, are we?
100%. So people having their data taken off them without even being aware of it.
I've got to say, like the rules of the game the lines need to be drawn much clearer.
But the point is actually that this is being done every day anyway. Is this just one company that are being picked out so many others can get away with what they're already doing? That's the question I'm going to put to you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, I wasn't aware of that either.
Well, they're industries, isn't they?
So they're buying it. That's what they're buying. That's how it's on Facebook. They make their money because they're buying that information.
It's not Facebook. But Cambridge Analytica would be hired by a company to swing votes. So they're harvesting data through Facebook. So that's why Zuckerberg's in trouble, because arguably he's facilitated this. Because his platform has been used to manipulate votes. It's his responsibility to ensure that that doesn't happen on his platform. However, interestingly, Zuckerberg sold a lot of shares a couple of weeks before this came out.
Oh, really?
It's all not right.
Daniel doesn't have a mobile phone, but he does have Facebook. Now, that's an interesting one, Daniel, that you're on Facebook.
Yeah. I like to go onto a British politics page and talk with people. Some people who have views which are, they're hard to digest.
But some may say that your views are quite hard to digest, Dan.
Well, what? What am I saying which is horrible?
And I know that some of the things that you post do get some reactions because people...
Yeah, I don't know why sometimes.
But they do get a reaction, don't they? Because
that's good though, isn't it?
it's not bad. I'm trying to say to you that we're all on a certain path and there's other people walking on a different path and we will question that path.
I've always found on Facebook it's very hard to change someone's mind via an argument. That type of social media, what it actually does is just reinforce what we're already thinking.
But this is targets the swing voters.
Right.
So it doesn't target the right, it doesn't target the left.
So how does that manifest? Does it control what you're seeing on all the stories?
Some of.
But that is for Facebook's responsibility.
Of course it is. That's why Zuckerberg's in trouble. That's why Zuckerberg's been called to Parliament.
So there's some photos of the police cordoning off the building and them being given 5 days to clear out, and they're all getting rid of their shit. And right in broad daylight, right in front of us, and just that's all evidence, buddy.
Right, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, that's happening, and there's some photos going around.
Well, hopefully Dan will link us up and I can put it in the video.
Oh, okay.
That's the officers.
Yeah. There's implications all over the shop that they're probably not the only people doing it.
Is it going to be the straw that broke the camel's back, and are we going to find out about lots more? Or is it going to be the one that they used to, like Gary Glitter was used in the 90s, like, we'll use Gary Glitter, we'll throw him under the bus and then hide all the other paedophiles for another 20 years? Is that going to be the same thing, or is this going to be the moment where it's like, do you know what? No more data stealing. Stop controlling what we see and let us just see everything and make our own mind up.
I think if we can go towards a more direct democracy, that we have to live by the decisions, the good ones as well.
What do you mean by that, Dan?
I think we've got common goals. The air that we breathe, if it's fresh, that's good for everyone, old and young, The same with the waterways. There's technology now, there's ideas, if implemented on a large scale, can actually revolutionise living.
Yeah, but
well-being.
what's in it for the shareholder?
A good life.
Let's move on from Cambridge Analytica then to our final topic of the day, which is close to Dan's heart and also close to where I'm from. Fracking, you motherfrackers.
Bad.
Dan, third time lucky, tell us, what is fracking?
Fracking is when they drill a very, very long way down into the Earth's crust, and then they can drill horizontally as well. And they sometimes use explosives and stuff like that. Their aim is to break up the rock sediment so that it releases gas, and they try and capture some of that gas.
To do what?
Supply whatever needs gas.
And where do they get gas from currently?
Other places around the world.
Russia.
Britain doesn't get that much from Russia.
Only 2%.
I think it's even less than that.
But are we short on gas?
They're making noises in the paper, but they're trying to kind of get people scared into accepting fracking.
Okay, so if there's a shortage of gas, why not frack then?
The thing is, it is a very bad idea because we're already in a toxic situation, especially with the aquifers.
So what's an aquifer?
An aquifer is an underground water system, and we've already polluted it through farming,
through
the pesticides and stuff like that. And there are also all kinds of chemicals in our water system and stuff like that.
And fracking does what, damages the environment?
Yeah, well, they mix the water which they jet down, and with a drill bit as well. It releases loads of radioactive stuff and loads of gas.
Yeah. Flammable gases.
Yeah. We've also got what they call flowback. So that comes up with radioactive mud. It's got that mixture which has got got a whole mixture of
Yeah.
shit, basically.
I agree. They're very sort of still a very primitive stage of actually harvesting it. Really, I don't know the statistics.
Tell you what, there's a beautiful grassroots community coming out to try and stop this. There are people who've made some like real sacrifices, and it's a continuum. It doesn't go away. It's a constant because there's potentially something that's going to grow out. So the scale in which they are proposing to do it as well.
So obviously it's happening currently in Blackpool or on the Fylde coast.
Yeah, there's also Missing as well.
And where's Missing?
That's in Nottinghamshire.
So if you had an earthquake in Blackpool, like, would anyone notice?
Well,
Oh, he's being a dickhead.
Great Yarmouth Rocks.
the initial frack, first one, that did cause an earthquake in Blackpool. And so they suspended it for a while.
Right.
The idea. It's bad. It's going to add to all the toxicity of the air already.
So is there proof out there that it's toxic? Is
Yeah,
there proof?
yeah, absolutely.
So if there's proof out there that it's toxic,
man.
no, all right. I'm just
not you.
I'm just asking.
I mean, generally, it's
If there's
research.
proof out there that it's toxic, how come our government are allowed to poison us?
Because your human rights, they're not absolute rights according to the law.
Oh, okay.
So, according to them, you as a subject of the crown interest trumps all.
Yeah.
I see. So providing it's within the interest of the crown, that means that your human rights are no longer exist, basically.
Well, yeah. We are knowingly behaving in ways which are poisoning people. We are knowingly doing that. Why isn't there a bigger coordinated movement to answering some of these problems?
It must be how the figures are presented, because if these figures exist, then why aren't they widely publicised? Why do we all know about this? What's stopping that from happening? Otherwise, it would be an outrage. This government would be voted out completely.
A lot of people know. I think actually a lot does get reported. I've been really sceptical about kind of media and what have you, but there's been some things which have levelled the playing field a little bit. A few years ago, if you wrote something firsthand through knowledge and wrote it as yourself and put it out there, it could fly. It could get more views than professional journalists for their article. That was actually happening at one point, but it's all slowly getting channelled.
I disagree with that though. You make a video, it goes viral, boom, you've got your message out there. Because there are so many left and right wing avenues nowadays, you can get your message out there. The problem being with Cambridge Analytica and Facebook and so on and so forth, that they do tailor who sees those videos. Like you were saying before, it's very difficult to change someone's mind based on one of those videos because they're sent to people who have already been converted by that level of preaching. But it does still drip out there a little bit, and I do believe that you can still get your message out there.
Yeah, it can be good.
Bringing it back to fracking, Blackpool and areas like that, there's still a lot of protesting going on. There was a lot of news about it, but even that's kind of fallen off the news now.
Well, it has done. It's always going on, man.
But that's what I'm saying, but it's not within the BB, it's not on the main news, obviously with the woman being arrested with the horn.
That was the Sheffield.
The lady with the horn?
Yeah, she had a horn, right? No, like a musical horn.
Oh, yeah.
She was blowing on it, and the policeman was like, "No, stop blowing your horn. It's really quite bad."
Sorry.
And she was just like, "What? I'm just blowing my horn." Woo. The policeman was like, "Right," and fucking nicked her. And you just kind of like, "Are you mad?"
Basically, she was playing a horn, and he said, "If you do that again, I will arrest you." And she said, "For what?" And he was like, "A public order offence." And she was like, "Yeah, but nobody's complained about it." And he's like, "I'm complaining about it."
Okay.
He was almost making a complaint to himself about it.
You can't do that.
Well, like he's a member of the public as well, isn't he?
But not when it's being paid by the state.
I suppose.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Are you a member of the public when you're being paid by the state?
You are.
Or you're a member
you are
of the
when
state?
you're not being paid.
That's what I'm saying. So when he's being paid, is he a member of the state?
No, not in that capacity. No.
Right.
Why did they do that then?
Okay.
What was the point of arresting that woman? What did they achieve, the police, from that?
One, they want to put people off. When you kind of go, look at the shit they're doing, people are going to go, whoa, that's getting a bit spiky.
Yeah.
The reality is, it's them that's drawing attention to this issue. It's them that may, potentially, if this doesn't happen, you could credit them with actually a measure which would actually save people's lives.
I suppose it depends,
give them
really.
longevity, give quality.
Give them what,
of air.
sorry?
Longevity.
Say again?
Longevity.
One more time?
Longevity.
Longevity. Go on, carry on.
Yeah, well, as I said about longevity, right? It's gonna be beautiful, man. That's all I'm saying.
As long as you're enjoying yourself, Dan. That's
As long as you're enjoying yourself, you've got to enjoy yourself.
All joking aside, no, we need the joking. All joking included, it is right, you've got to enjoy yourself, but there's a lot less enjoyable things going on at the moment, and actually...
I don't know, life is beautiful, man.
And we've got to laugh at it though, haven't we? Because the situation at the moment is frightening. We either laugh at it or cry.
Well, the things that have happened which I never thought would happen. I thought we'd learnt from history some of the things which are happening now.
Yeah, but they're always sort of done in come at you in a slightly different way.
Yeah, well.
So you always think it's new, and then after a little while, once it's too late, you go, oh yeah, we should have learned from that.
Yeah, but I think we can do that now.
I'm not sure we will. That's been the first 3 on the sofa show. It's been great to have Tim and Dan on the sofa. Hopefully they'll both be back soon. It will be once a month. I'm Marcus J. Richardson.
Yeah, research the tax haven class. They're not very nice.
He's been Dan Ashman, and this has been Tim Batt / Andrew Barron. Until next time, we'll see you soon. Peace.
Yeah, peace.
On a sofa.